Right now, at this very moment, 5 American bases are housing fighter squadrons so large, so powerful, and so battle-ready that most nations could only dream of matching just one of them. And number 1 will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about American air power. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a breakdown like this one. Number 5. Mountain Home Air Force Base, Idaho. Coming in at number 5 is Mountain Home Air Force Base, tucked deep in the high desert of southwestern Idaho, and this base is home to the 366th Fighter Wing, nicknamed the Gunfighters, operating approximately 72 F-15E Strike Eagles and F-15EX Eagle II fighters, making it one of the most combat-ready wings in the entire United States Air Force. What makes Mountain Home truly extraordinary is its composite wing design, meaning unlike most bases that fly just one type of aircraft, the Gunfighters train to fight as a complete, self-sufficient air force all by themselves, with air superiority, ground attack, electronic warfare, and aerial refueling all operating under one roof, one commander, one mission. The base sits at 3,000 feet above sea level and has access to the Sailor Creek Bombing Range, a 109,000-acre live-fire training ground where pilots drop real bombs on real targets just minutes from the runway. No other base in America has that kind of immediate access to a live range of that size. During a single training cycle, gunfighter pilots can fly over 15,000 sorties annually, building the kind of raw combat instinct that no classroom or simulator can ever fully replicate. And that is exactly what makes Mountain Home a hidden giant in American air power. The Gunfighters have deployed to nearly every major combat operation since the Gulf War, from the skies over Iraq to the mountains of Afghanistan, proving time and again that a smaller base does not mean a lesser force. In fact, military analysts who study American air power consistently rank the 366th Fighter Wing among the top 3 most deployable and self-sufficient combat wings in the entire Air Force. Number 4. Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina. Coming in at number 4 is Shaw Air Force Base, sitting in the heart of South Carolina, and this base is home to the 20th Fighter Wing, one of the largest F-16 Fighting Falcon wings in the entire world, operating over 100 F-16 CD Block 52 fighters, which is a number so large that it actually surpasses the total fighter count of several NATO member nations combined. What makes Shaw genuinely special is that it serves as the headquarters of the 9th Air Force and United States Air Forces Central, meaning the commanders who plan and control air combat operations across the entire Middle East, Afghanistan, and surrounding regions make their decisions right here from South Carolina. So while the jets at Shaw may be based in America, their reach and influence stretch across millions of square miles of the most dangerous airspace on Earth. Shaw pilots are trained specifically in suppression of enemy air defenses, known as SEAD, which is the incredibly dangerous and highly specialized mission of flying directly toward enemy radar systems and missile batteries to destroy them before other aircraft can safely enter hostile territory. A mission so critical and so difficult that only the most skilled pilots in the Air Force are trusted to fly it, and Shaw owns that mission completely. Shaw Air Force Base has been continuously operational since 1941, making it one of the longest-running active fighter bases in American history, and in those 8 decades, it has never once gone a single year without deploying combat-ready pilots to real-world operations somewhere on the globe. The base is also home to over 5,000 active duty personnel and supports a local economy in Sumter County worth over $2 billion annually. Number 3. Eglin Air Force Base, Florida. Coming in at number 3 is Eglin Air Force Base, stretched across the stunning Emerald coastline of northwestern Florida, and this base is not just a fighter base, it is the single largest Air Force base in the entire free world by total land area, covering an absolutely massive 724 square miles of land, plus an additional 128,000 square miles of overwater airspace in the Gulf of Mexico, giving pilots a training playground so enormous that you could fit the entire country of Singapore inside it nearly 400 times over. Eglin is home to the 33rd Fighter Wing operating F-35A Lightning II fighters, but what truly separates Eglin from every other base on this list is that every single weapon the United States Air Force uses, every bomb, every missile, every piece of ammunition, must be tested and proven at Eglin before it can ever be used in real combat, meaning that without Eglin, American pilots would quite literally fly into battle unarmed. The base also houses the Air Force Armament Museum, the only museum in America dedicated entirely to Air Force weapons, displaying over 25 aircraft and thousands of weapon systems that tell the complete story of how American firepower evolved from simple World War II bombs into the precision-guided smart weapons that can hit a target the size of a car from 40,000 feet in the sky today. Eglin's research and development mission is so critical that the base employs over 200 different scientific and engineering specialties simultaneously, making it less like a traditional military base and more like the most powerful weapons laboratory on the face of the Earth. Every year, Eglin test pilots log thousands of hours flying experimental weapons profiles that the rest of the world will not see for another decade, meaning the technology being perfected in Florida skies today is the same technology that will dominate battlefields in the 2030s and beyond. Number 2. Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. Coming in at number 2 is Nellis Air Force Base, rising out of the scorching Mojave Desert just north of Las Vegas, Nevada. And this base is home to over 180 assigned aircraft, spanning 5 different fighter types simultaneously: F-15S, F-16S, F-22S, F-35S, and A-10S, all operating from the same runway, making Nellis the most diverse and complex fighter operation anywhere on the planet Earth. What makes Nellis almost impossible to fully wrap your head around is the Nevada Test and Training Range sitting directly above it, a restricted airspace block so gigantic it covers 12,000 square miles of sky, which means Nellis pilots can fly at full combat speed, fire real weapons, practice real tactics, and engage simulated enemy forces across a training arena larger than the entire country of Belgium without ever leaving their own backyard. Nellis is also home to the United States Air Force Weapons School, which is the most academically demanding military aviation program in existence. The acceptance rate is brutally low, the coursework runs 6 grueling months, and every single graduate returns to their home squadron wearing a patch that every other pilot in the Air Force immediately recognizes as a symbol of the absolute highest level of tactical knowledge and combat skill that any fighter pilot on Earth can ever achieve. Nellis also runs the legendary Red Flag exercise multiple times every single year, bringing together fighter pilots from across the United States military and up to 30 allied nations at a time to practice large-scale air combat in the most realistic simulated war environment that exists anywhere in the world today. Studies have shown that pilots who survive their first 10 combat missions have a dramatically higher chance of surviving the rest of their career, and Red Flag was specifically designed to give every participating pilot those first 10 missions in a safe training environment, which means Nellis is quite literally saving the lives of American and Allied pilots before they ever see real combat. And perhaps the most staggering fact of all is that the combined value of all aircraft, weapons systems, and technology operating out of Nellis at any given moment exceeds $50 billion. Number 1. Luke Air Force Base, Arizona. Coming in at number 1 is Luke Air Force Base, blazing under the relentless Arizona sun just west of Phoenix. And this base operates approximately 150 fighter aircraft, making it the single largest fighter wing in the entire United States Air Force. But the number that truly stops people in their tracks is this. Nearly 1 out of every 3 F-35 pilots currently flying anywhere in the world today received their training right here at Luke, meaning that whether an F-35 is lifting off from a carrier in the Pacific, a base in Europe, or an Allied airfield in the Middle East, there is an overwhelming chance that the pilot sitting in that cockpit learned how to fight in it on the sun-scorched runways of Arizona. Luke's 56th Fighter Wing manages a training operation so massive that the base logs over 65,000 individual flight operations every single year that breaks down to roughly 178 flights every single day, 365 days a year, in good weather and bad, making Luke's airspace one of the busiest and most complex pieces of sky in the entire country. What makes this even more remarkable is that 9 different allied nations currently send their own military pilots to train at Luke, meaning this one Arizona base is simultaneously building the fighter pilot corps of multiple countries at once, quietly shaping the future of air combat across the entire Western world every single day. Luke is also planning to expand its fleet of full-motion flight simulators to 32 units, a number larger than the simulator inventory of most entire national air forces, allowing pilots to rehearse complex multi-aircraft combat scenarios with a level of realism and repetition that was completely impossible just 10 years ago. When you add it all together, 150 fighter jets, 9 allied nations, 65,000 annual flight operations, and a simulator expansion that will redefine how the world trains fighter pilots. Luke Air Force Base is not just the largest fighter wing in America today, it is the single most important pilot factory on the entire planet, and nothing else even comes close. The economic impact of Luke on the greater Phoenix metropolitan area alone exceeds $2.5 billion every single year, meaning this base does not just produce the world's finest fighter pilots, it simultaneously powers one of the fastest-growing economies in the entire United States. From the hidden desert giant at Mountain Home to the undisputed champion at Luke, these 5 bases and their legendary squadrons represent the sharpest, most powerful edge of American air dominance on the planet. And they are just getting stronger every single day. Hit subscribe so you never miss what comes next.